Hi guys, welcome back to the weekly vlog. So for this week, I didn't record, but instead I wanted to upload some of my videos that I've made for other platforms. Like I think I have these uploaded on TikTok, and I just wanted to put like a compilation of them in a YouTube video. So I think it's about 6 videos, just kind of like advice and tips, basically things I wish my younger self knew. And I have like a lot more to make, a whole series to make, but these are just a few that I wanted to include. So I hope you guys enjoy them. And I'll see you next week for our regular weekly vlog. The best thing you can do when you're feeling jealous is just stop in that moment and remind yourself of a few things. First, you have to remember that what you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg. You're seeing this much, and there's like this much below the surface that you're not seeing. And if you saw the whole picture, you probably wouldn't be jealous of that person's life, because everybody has things in their life that you don't want and you would not be jealous of anymore. Just because you're seeing that small top part doesn't mean that the rest of the picture is good. And second, you have to remember, if you're feeling jealous and that's something that you desire for yourself, that means that that's on your heart for a reason, and that's something you want in your life, and that's something that's achievable for you in one way or another. So that's something that you can use as motivation to get that thing. Like, for example, if it's someone's car, you can use that as motivation to have a nice car like that too. Or if it's somebody's body, that could be motivation for you to do things to make your body a healthier version. Another thing you can remind yourself of is that, as crazy as it might sound, you might not feel this way, but there are people that are looking at you and that are jealous of you. And your life probably isn't perfect. You're thinking, why would they be jealous of me? And that's because you do have things in your life that are admirable and great things. So you need to remind yourself of those things and realize that you do have good things. Silly boy. That you do have good things going for you, and remind yourself of those things and appreciate what you do have. Maybe start a gratitude journal when you're feeling that way. And you want to do all these things in the moment you're feeling jealous, and that will help talk you out of it and make you feel better. Sometimes, especially as women, I feel like it's so easy to get into a mindset that everybody's life is better than yours, or so many other people have better lives. But yet maybe that one small aspect of their life is better, but you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's lots of things you would not be jealous of if you saw the whole picture of their life. Whenever I have thoughts of jealousy or just really negative thoughts in general, I always do these things to talk myself out of it and bring myself back down to earth to feel better. So I was reading a book recently that said that success in life depends on knowing who we really are. And knowing who we really are gives us the ability to fulfill any dream we have. And so when our internal reference point is our ego or self-image, we feel cut off from our source, and the uncertainty of the events creates fear and doubt. And ego thrives on the approval of others. It's influenced by objects outside of the self, such as circumstances, people, and things. And it wants control because it lives in fear. The ego is like our social mask. It's like the face that we show others, kind of like the role that we are playing. But if we were to give our deeper instincts a chance and embrace our true self, then the book is saying not only is success possible, it's inevitable. So basically embracing who you really are is how you become successful. And in every seed, so like every idea you have, is the possibility of a forest. And this really stuck with me because I feel like a lot of people are kind of playing a role and they're not doing the things that they want to do. They are stuck in like the self-image and worrying about others. But when you truly figure out what you want out of life and embrace who you truly are, that's when that success comes, because you're doing something from a place of passion, not from a place of like I said, fear and doubt when you're worrying about what other people think. And it's definitely not easy to figure out who you are, but taking time in nature and taking time to journal and meditate and sit with yourself and realize what you like, what makes you happy, and what you feel like your purpose is, makes that a lot easier to figure that out and to be your true authentic self. Yeah. So something I heard recently is, how would you act if your slate, your mind had been wiped clean? Nobody has ever said anything mean to you. You don't have any trauma. You haven't lived through any hard experiences. You don't have the fear of people judging you. But you're just like almost childlike. Your slate is wiped clean. How would you live differently? How would you act? What decisions would you make? How would your life change? Would you move somewhere new? Would you start a business? How would you act if you were free? You felt carefree. You didn't feel like people were judging you, or like you had to live up to somebody else's expectations, or had to do the things that you were taught that you should do, or are responsible, practical things to do. If none of this was in your mind by being told this growing up, or whenever you were told those things, how would you act differently? You can think on that, journal on that, and decide how you would act differently. Then you should make efforts to start making that your life, and realize that none of these things people said to you matter. Your life is not their life. Your life is not your parents' life. Your parents have already lived their life pretty much. They got to choose what they wanted to do, and they've done it. Like, of course, they can still, their life isn't over, but I'm saying they made their decisions. So it doesn't matter what you do with your life in comparison to what your parents did with their life, or anyone else that's trying to have input on your life. If you're a woman and you're feeling self-conscious, insecure, unsure of yourself, afraid to speak up, afraid to stand up for yourself, afraid to venture out, counting to 3 before starting to do something and then not doing it, if you're not feeling creative, if you're just feeling uncertain with yourself, then that means that the woman in you is trapped. And I feel like a lot of people don't know about this. They think of like primitive woman, like kind of like wild woman, but not wild in like a crazy sense, but like a free, caring for her children, frolicking in fields, picking flowers, picking berries. Think about her creative, happy nature. And if she is being suppressed, if you're feeling these things, and another part of that is like if you don't feel like you're in touch with your gut instinct, if you have trouble making decisions and you are not in touch with her, this probably means you're under a lot of stress, and there's a lot of things that you need to do to become in touch with her. I think I'm gonna make a lot of videos about this because it's a very broad and like some maybe complex. If this is the first time you've heard about this before, it might be very complex. So I think I'm gonna make a lot of videos diving deeper into this, explaining it more and explaining how you can be in touch with her to feel more creative, happy, inspired, and like a woman. That is how you're supposed to feel when you're in touch with your feminine energy. My whole life, I've always been a people pleaser, but then one day I was like, yeah, I make people happy, but at what cost? If you are a people pleaser, then more than likely you're sacrificing your own boundaries to try to make them happy, and then you're not showing up as your true authentic self, and it's only hurting you and making you feel bad about yourself and bottling bad feelings towards this person who probably didn't do anything wrong, because it's you who didn't stick to your boundaries. So if you're finding that you feel like resentment or you bottle up feelings towards people, it's probably you. And if you're being a people pleaser, I understand that you want people to like you, but at the end of the day, it does not matter. Like, yeah, you want your closest friends and family to like you probably, but if you can't show up as your true authentic self in order for them to like you, then maybe they don't need to be in your life. And at the same time, if you want to be respected, then you need to stick to your boundaries, and that means that you're not always going to make people happy. It more so matters how you feel about yourself. So don't sacrifice your own well-being just to please others. Show up as your most authentic self, and the people that are meant to be in your life will align with you, and the people that won't will not be in your life anymore.
But look at you. Look how far you've come. You faced your trauma, and you came out on the other side.
From the people that are chronically constipated and cannot figure out why, you're active, you eat healthy, yet you just seem to be in a place where you can never go to the bathroom. Well, your nervous system is probably in fight or flight, meaning your body does not feel safe. Some time ago, when our ancestors were doing something that's life or death, like running from a bear, their bodies would go into fight or flight. Their sympathetic nervous system would be stimulated, and they would go into fight or flight. On the contrary, when your sympathetic nervous system is stimulated, you're in rest and digest. And when your body feels safe and comfortable, you digest. Now, maybe instead of being chased by a bear, you don't know how you're going to pay rent the next day, you're stressed about life, childhood traumas, and so your body does not feel comfortable, you're in fight or flight, and you're not in rest and digest, and that's when you get into that mode of being constipated, because when you're in fight or flight, everything that your body doesn't need right in that moment shuts down. You are running from that bear, you are just trying to survive, all those extra bodily mechanisms shut down. So if this is you, you need to get out of fight or flight, and your body needs to relax.